Hello, this video is Ascension and Insanity, the relationship. Now I think a lot of, as all of the extra energy from the cosmos comes here and blasts open our brains and makes us extremely smart and gives us new insights and stuff, it will have a tendency, or it has the possibility to make some people a little bit crazy, a little bit off balance, in that kind of in a way that, like, say, LSD can. I saw this video, my brother showed me this video a few months back, where there's this place in India, and my brother went there, and I can't remember what it's called, but it's a place where all these Israelis like to go to after they get off the army. They all go to there, they all like to go to the same place because they can hang out with each other. Yeah. And like they all do shitloads of acid, and some of them go crazy, and so then other Israelis go over there to help the crazy ones and bring them back to Earth. And so, like, they had this one thing of this one guy, and he ate too much acid, this 22-year-old guy, and he's like, and I actually saw the video and heard him talking. He's like, yes, no, I'm a very important person. Leave me alone. You have to listen to me. You have to help me. I am the most important person who ever lived. I'm going to start a new religion, and people are going to follow me, and I'm going to be the, and I heard him saying this, I'm going to be the new chosen one. And because he had this blast of, like, energy, and he got these crazy insights, and then when he came back, he couldn't remember exactly what the insights he had, but but when he had the insights, it was so powerful that he felt like he knew so much. Now I think what happens with a lot of people go to, like, Jerusalem, and they get blasted by, maybe there's, like, spiritual energy there, or they just get, like, inspired by the ancient sites, and they, like, freak out, and they think that they're, like, reincarnations of, like, John the Baptist and Jesus. And so you see them, like, out there, like, preaching, people must follow me, I am the chosen one, you must, and, like, quoting scripture and, like, inventing their own shit, and I think a lot of what happens is a lot of people who get, blasts of cosmic energy and ideas, is that, if it happens too fast for them, you see, and Bashar was talking about this, like, if you're going to abduct some people with aliens and teach them everything there is to know, it's kind of like getting a really slow moving cog and a really fast moving cog and jamming them together. If you do that, you're just going to break teeth off, and that's kind of maybe, I think, what happens in some ways to some people who get revelations about the truth and spiritual truth and, real history truth and stuff too fast, is that because they grow up, they come from, like, a really ignorant society, ignorant neighborhood, ignorant family, and they don't know anybody else who's having these revelations like they are, is that they think they're the only ones having those revelations. And because they're not doing it as a group, they're not in, like, an enlightened community, and because they think they're experiencing that alone, they think they're the only ones having those revelations, and they think they're the only ones having those revelations in the whole world. So then they get this messiah complex, and they had to go nuts. I saw this video just the other day of Chogyam Trunpa Rinpoche, because, I uploaded some videos talking about my life, and then people, like, mentioned Chogyam Trunpa, and he's like, oh, look at this other video next to you, it's about him. And I was like, oh, you know what, maybe I should watch a video about him, he was, like, my parents' number one guru. So I went over there and I watched him, and he was saying stuff like, yes, I just heard this small excerpt, but maybe it was, like, by synchronicity, I heard it for a reason. He goes, yes, I got to the point where I thought that I was on the verge of enlightenment. And, that is the time when a lot of people, they either become enlightened or they go crazy or they go completely insane. And, and I think, like, one thing he did to try to avoid becoming insane was he stopped wearing those Tibetan orange and red outfits where they dress up like monks. And he started drinking alcohol and doing drugs and fucking all of his, his students and stuff, to try to keep himself grounded in the real world as much as possible, so that he didn't, like, float up above everybody and then, like, think he's, be, like, smarter and better than everybody and go nuts. Because that, I think, that's at least how I interpreted insanity caused by enlightenment. Because there's, of course, I don't mean enlightenment as a black and white term. I mean enlightenment is a relative thing, and it happens in stages. And you hit a new level of enlightenment. And I think that's what happened with this girl. Like, somebody told me to do a video about that woman, Colleen, drawing a blank. But like, she's this lady who like grew up. She said in a video like, "Oh yes, I'm new to this stuff. I just had this revelations or whatever." You can like trace it from her first upload up into her like later uploads, because I saw one of her first uploads and she's talking about the history of the earth, and it's like, "Oh yeah, I'm talking about like, I read this. It's like there's the human race was engineered by the Anunnaki, and then there's other aliens, but then you have the evil aliens, the good aliens." She's kind of like me. Like, she read all this stuff and got excited about it. But then I saw one of the more later ones, and it's like she got blasted because she talks with like the Southern accent, like Christian, fundamentalist Christian. She's got the fundamentalist Christian hairdo, and she's like 50, and she's like, so it's like, and then I went to one of the most recent ones, and it's like her personality changed. And all of a sudden she's like, yes, because she got, maybe she was paying attention to like early David Icke too much, and to like these like Alex Jones and stuff, but she was listening to that from the vantage point of her background, which is really like conservative, fundamentalist Christian, fear-based, and politically conservative, close-minded. And now she's listening to all these aliens and hearing Alex Jones, and it just threw her for a loop. And then she's like all aggravated, like, people need to wake up. Obama is a reptilian in disguise, and he's evil. And she's just like going fucking crazy, and then like trying to like bring in like, you have to close the borders and all this shit. And then like there's somebody else, because I did that video, and then like one of her friends like is now sending me emails and being like, "Don't be an atheist, you need to wake up and you need to follow my ministries." So I was like, what? So I clicked on their video, and they're here like, it's this like 12-year-old English kid here like, "Wake up, people. It's the I'm not demanding you. I'm not asking you. I'm demanding you. You must wake up because the evil aliens are coming, and they're going to, and it's because they got revelations and learning truth so fast that that they're learning all of this, like, that the cosmos is this giant place filled with life, filled with possibilities. We have been manipulated by aliens in the past, and they did send us down a path of classism and of kind of taking your power away and making you like do whatever the God can tell you and the king can tell you, and that's kind of trickled down to here. And so there was some things that kind of went a little bit awry, and they saw that. And so then they, and they're kind of like waking up to that, but they're also waking up to all the good stuff too. The power of the eternal now, and the power of intent, and law of attraction, all this stuff. But they're seeing some of the, I guess, and of course all the physical evidence for the aliens. But they're also seeing the negative stuff. So they're bringing their old like mindset into it, of fear-based stuff, and it makes them, and it gives them, and it makes them think that they're the only one out there, because maybe they haven't had, because they're new to the field, they haven't had the time to see that there's actually thousands of people up on YouTube talking about aliens and knowing exactly what's going on. They haven't visited the blogs, or they haven't talked to all the people on the street, and they don't know, they haven't seen that there's millions of people who've known about this stuff before they did. But they think that they're the only one. They think they're the first one. They think that they're like the chosen one or the Messiah. And so they have to like, and so they're out there on YouTube, and what I'm going to tell you is you're going to do this, and because the people of the God have spoken to me that what you're going to, you people need to realize, and it's like, that I think is the definition of kind of how ascension can cause insanity. Like fast revelations can cause insanity. And I don't think it's like dangerous. The insanity isn't dangerous. Unless you think you have to take it onto your own self to like murder the president because he's an alien. He's like a reptilian alien in disguise, and you have to like whip out the guns and start shooting everybody. But I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think it's like dangerous, but it's just. I think we're gonna start seeing more people like that popping up. I think that's kind of just a backdrop or like a side effect of a lot of people suddenly, because as time goes on, more and more people are going to start to realize that there's extraterrestrials here and they're about to land. But the people who learn that are going to be more and more mainstream. Like, everybody's going to figure that out pretty soon. So more and more mainstream people are going to start to figure out. And mainstream people are going to react to it in a different way than the people who had known it, who had been into this shit for a long time. Because they're different people. They're at a different stage of development. But more importantly, they're from a different background. So, a different paradigm. So they're going to react to it differently, and they're going to have more of a, like I said a bunch of times already in this video, they're going to have more of a chance, more of a likelihood of thinking that they're the only ones, and they're going to get that little messiah complex. But then, of course, when they all like start to learn it and figure it out in mass together, but I mean, they're going to I think start to create little groups of people. I mean, like this woman, Colleen, what's her name? She has 2,000 subscribers, and I'm sure it's all the other people who have, on her level, who have learned it around the same amount of time she has and from the same vantage point, and they just choose a leader, because people from like, like fundamentalist Christian backgrounds, or like a third world background or something, are more used to having the leader. Like choosing a leader, and then everybody follow that leader because it's easier on them and they don't have to think for themselves. And so, of course, people are going to naturally fall into that leadership position and have the Messiah thing going on. And so this Messiah guy's got his 2,000 people, and this Messiah dude's saying his 2,000 people, and they're like going crazy, like going insane. That's at least that's how I interpreted that little thing of what Chogyam Trunpa said. Like, when you hit enlightenment, you go insane. You think that you're like, and because if you think you're special and you're more special than the other people, you're not gonna trust yourself in the same way. You're gonna trust all of your instincts in kind of a manipulative way, because you're gonna think that everything you say is more right than the other guy. So you're gonna be like, you're gonna lend your ear to some spirits, more self-serving spirits who vibe to that whole manipulative, and then you're gonna become manipulative and order people to not believe that guy, but you must believe in this guy, and that because I think this, you must believe that these guys are bad, and that you mustn't do this and mustn't, and just carry it way too far. And yeah, I'm sure I'm going to have a whole lot more to talk about on this. I'm going to watch the video, what I said, and I'm sure I'm going to get some more ideas and talk about it. But yeah, that's all I have to say now. Hope this made sense.